Nothing changes until you commit. And I don't mean the weak stuff. I don't mean the "I'll try this for a week" garbage. I mean the kind of commitment where you look yourself in the mirror and say, "I'm done being this person. I'm burning it all down and rebuilding from scratch." You know what Alexander the Great did when he landed in Persia? He burned his own ships. His soldiers watched their only way home turn to ash. And you know what message that sent? We're not going back. We win here or we die here. That's commitment. That's the energy you need for your life right now. Not hope, not wishful thinking. Commitment so deep it scares you. So complete that quitting isn't even on the table anymore. I'm talking about Julius Caesar crossing the Rubicon. Once he crossed that river with his army, Roman law said he was a traitor. There was no going back, no second guessing. No, let me think about this. He crossed and changed the entire course of history. The die is cast, he said. Done, committed, all in. That's what I'm asking you to do with your life. Cross your Rubicon, burn your ships, make it so going backward is impossible. Because here's what kills me, I see people every single day who have everything they need to win. Everything. The talent's there, the opportunity's there, the time's there. But you know what's missing? The commitment, the willingness to go all in and risk everything on themselves. They're playing it safe, keeping one foot out the door, building escape plans before they even start. And then they wonder why nothing ever changes. They wonder why they're stuck in the same place year after year, watching other people pass them by. You want to know why those other people are winning? It's not because they're smarter than you. It's not because they're more talented. It's because when they committed completely. They didn't hedge their bets. They didn't give themselves permission to quit if it got hard. They decided, and then they became obsessed with making that decision real. That's the difference. That's always been the difference. Throughout all of history, the people who changed the world were the people who committed so fully that failure wasn't even a concept they entertained. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison. 27 years. And he never wavered from his commitment to ending apartheid. He could have compromised. He could have taken the easy way out. They offered him freedom if he'd just back down. You know what he said? No. The commitment was more important than comfort. The cause was more important than convenience. That's the level we're talking about here. That's what real commitment looks like when it's tested. And your life is going to test you. I promise you that. Life's going to look at what you say you're committed to, and then it's going to throw everything at you to see if you meant it. It's going to take your motivation. It's going to take your energy. It's going to make you question whether any of this is worth it. And in those moments, those dark 3 a.m. moments when you're exhausted and discouraged and wondering why you're doing this, that's when commitment is the only thing that keeps you moving. Not motivation. Motivation's gone. Not inspiration. That left weeks ago. Just pure commitment. The decision you made when you were strong, carrying you through the moments when you're weak. You think Muhammad Ali felt like training every day? He said it himself. I hated every minute of training, but I said don't quit. Suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. He understood something most people never figure out. The commitment to suffer now is what builds the life you want later. But people don't want to hear that. They want the easy version. They want the path where they don't have to sacrifice anything, where they don't have to change who they are, where they can still do all the things they've always done and somehow get different results. That's not how this works. That's never been how this works. Michelangelo spent 4 years on his back painting the Sistine Chapel. 4 years. In pain. In discomfort. People thought he was crazy. And you know what he said? If people knew how hard I worked to get my mastery, it wouldn't seem so wonderful at all. The commitment to the craft. The commitment to the work. That's what created something that's lasted 500 years. What are you committing to that's going to last? What are you building that's going to outlive you? What are you so obsessed with that you're willing to sacrifice everything else to see it through? Because that's what commitment requires. Everything. Not part of you. Not the version of you that shows up when it's convenient. Everything you've got. Every ounce of discipline. Every moment of focus. Every sacrifice you can make. And most people aren't willing to pay that price. They want results without commitment. They want the championship without the training. They want the business without the grind. They want the body without the discipline. They want the relationship without the work. And life just laughs at them. Because life doesn't negotiate. Life doesn't give you what you want. Life gives you what you're committed to. You're committed to comfort. Life gives you comfort and stagnation and the slow death of your potential. You're committed to growth. Life Most people at 65 are thinking about retirement. He was thinking about building an empire. His recipe got rejected over 1,000 times. Over 1,000 people told him no, and he kept going. Why? Because the commitment was deeper than the rejection. The vision was stronger than the obstacle. That's what I need you to understand. When you truly commit, when you commit at a level where your entire identity is wrapped up in seeing this thing through, rejection doesn't stop you. Failure doesn't stop you. Other people's opinions don't stop you. Nothing stops you because you've made stopping more painful than continuing. You've burned the ships. You've crossed the Rubicon. You've made it so the only way out is through. And that's when magic starts to happen. That's when the universe starts to bend in your direction. Not because of some mystical force, but because you're moving with such intention and such focus that opportunities start appearing that were invisible before. Thomas Edison tested over 10,000 materials before he found the right filament for the light bulb. 10,000 failures. And someone asked him how it felt to fail that many times. You know what he said? I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That's commitment. That's seeing every obstacle as information, instead of as a reason to quit. But you've got to be committed at that level. You've got to be so locked in on where you're going that nothing can shake you loose. I see people quit after one rejection, one setback, one bad week, and they wonder why they're not successful. They wonder why other people are making it and they're not. It's the commitment. It's always the commitment. You think Kobe Bryant just decided one day he wanted to be great? No. He committed to being great when he was a kid, and then he honored that commitment every single day for decades. 5 a.m. workouts, thousands of shots, watching film when everyone else was sleeping. That wasn't motivation. That was commitment. That was the daily honoring of a decision he made about who he was going to be. That's what I'm asking you to do. Make a decision about who you're going to be, and then honor that decision every single day through your actions. Not when you feel like it, not when it's convenient. Every single day, even the days you're tired, even the days nothing's working, even the days you want to quit. Especially those days, because those days are the ones that count. Those days are the ones that separate the people who make it from the people who almost made it. Those days are where champions are built. Winston Churchill led Britain through World War II, the darkest days in their history. Bombs falling on London every night, the entire nation looking to him for strength. And you know what his message was? Never give in. Never give in. Never, never, never. That's commitment. That's refusing to let circumstances dictate your response. That's the energy you need right now. Not for a war, for your life, for your dreams, for the person you know you're supposed to become. Never give in. Never give in. Never, 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 never. When the alarm goes off and you don't want to get up, never give in. When you're 6 months in and you can't see results yet, never give in. When everyone around you thinks you've lost your mind, never give in. When you're broke and tired and wondering if any of this is worth it, never give in. Because that's the test. That's life asking you, are you serious about this commitment, or was this just another thing you were excited about for 3 weeks? Most people fail that test. Most people prove they weren't serious. Most people give in the first time it gets really hard. But not you. Not anymore. You're done being most people. You're done with the weak commitment. You're done with the half measures and the backup plans and the safety nets. You're burning the ships. You're crossing the Rubicon. You're going all in. And you know what happens when you do that? When you commit so completely that there's no other option but to succeed. You discover what you're actually made of. You discover capabilities you didn't know you had. You discover strength that was always there but never got tested because you never committed to anything hard enough to require it. That's the gift of real commitment. It reveals who you really are, not who you hope to be, not who you pretend to be, who you actually are when everything's on the line and there's no way out but through. Spartans at Thermopylae, 300 warriors facing an army of hundreds of thousands. They knew they were going to die. They knew there was no winning this fight in the traditional sense, and they stood anyway. Because they were committed to something bigger than themselves, committed to showing the world what courage looks like, committed to giving Greece time to prepare. That commitment echoed through history. We're still talking about it thousands of years later. That's the power of complete commitment. What are you committing to that's going to echo? What are you building that's going to outlast you? What are you so dedicated to that people are going to remember long after you're gone? Or are you going to waste your life on weak commitments and half efforts, wondering what could have been if you'd just gone all in? Because that's the choice. That's always the choice. What matters is what you decide right now, in this moment, hearing this, feeling that pull inside you that knows you're capable of more. Are you going to listen to that? Are you going to honor that? Are you going to commit to becoming that? Or are you going to let this be another moment of temporary inspiration that fades by tomorrow? Nothing changes until you commit. Those aren't just words. That's the fundamental truth of transformation. Everything you want is on the other side of real commitment. Everything. The body you want, the business you want, the relationships you want, the life you want. All of it requires one thing: first commitment. Complete, total, unwavering commitment. Let me tell you something else about commitment. It's lonely. Nobody talks about that part. When you truly commit to something great, you're going to spend a lot of time alone. Because most people aren't willing to make the sacrifices you're making. Most people aren't willing to say no to the things you're saying no to. They're going to call you obsessed. They're going to say you're taking it too seriously. They're going to tell you to relax, to have balance, to enjoy life. And you know what? Let them say whatever they want while you're building something they can't even comprehend yet. Because here's what they don't understand. You've tasted mediocrity and it made you sick. You've lived the comfortable life and it felt like dying slowly. You've done the normal thing and it crushed your soul. So now you're committed to something different, something bigger, something that requires you to become someone you've never been before. And that transformation, that evolution, it happens in the lonely hours. It happens at 5 a.m. when everyone else is sleeping. It happens on Saturday night when everyone else is out and you're working. It happens in the moments when you choose your future over your present comfort. Elon Musk slept on the floor of his factory, on the floor, while building Tesla, because he was so committed to making it work. That comfort didn't matter. Sleep didn't matter. What other people thought didn't matter. The only thing that mattered was the commitment. That's the level I'm talking about. That's what separates the people who change industries from the people who just work in them. And I'm not saying you need to sleep on a factory floor. I'm saying you need to find that thing you're willing to sacrifice comfort for. That thing you believe in so deeply that nothing else compares. Because without that level of commitment, you're just going through the motions. You're just existing. You're not building anything that matters. You're not becoming anyone exceptional. And maybe that's fine for some people. Maybe some people are okay with average. Maybe some people are content with comfort and predictability and never really testing themselves. But you're not those people. You wouldn't be here right now if you were. You wouldn't be listening to this if you were satisfied with where you are. Something inside you knows you're meant for more. Something inside you is screaming that you're wasting your potential. Something inside you won't let you settle. Listen to that voice. Honor that voice. Commit to that voice. Because that voice is the real you. The you that exists beneath all the fear and doubt and limiting beliefs. The you that knows what you're actually capable of. And here's what I know about that version of you. It's tired of waiting. It's tired of watching you play small. It's tired of seeing you make excuses and play it safe and choose comfort over growth. It wants out. It wants to show the world what it can do. It wants to build something remarkable. It wants to live a life that matters. But it can't do any of that until you commit. Until you give it permission to take over. Until you stop listening to the scared version of yourself and start listening to the version that knows you're destined for greatness. That's the commitment I'm asking for. Not just commitment to a goal. Commitment to becoming a different person. Commitment to letting the best version of yourself finally take the wheel. And when you make that commitment, when you really make it, everything shifts. The way you wake up shifts. The way you make decisions shifts. The way you spend your time shifts. The way you see yourself shifts. You stop being someone who's trying to change and you become someone who is changed. You stop being someone who wants to be great and you become someone who is becoming great through daily action. That's the power of real commitment. It transforms your identity. And when your identity changes, your behavior changes automatically. You don't have to force it anymore. You don't have to rely on motivation or willpower. You just do what people like you do. People who are committed to excellence wake up early. So you wake up early, not because you have to, because that's who you are now. People who are committed to their health, eat well, and train hard. So you eat well and train hard, not as a diet or a program, as a lifestyle, as an expression of who you become. People who are committed to building something significant work when others rest. So you work when others rest, not as a sacrifice, you are at your core. And that shift starts with one decision. One moment where you draw a line and say, everything before this was preparation. Everything after this is execution. Rocky Balboa said something in that movie that stuck with me. He said, it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. That's commitment. That's understanding that the path is going to knock you down, and the only question is whether you're going to get back up. Because you're going to get knocked down. That's guaranteed. You're going to face rejection. You're going to face failure. You're going to face moments where you question everything. And in those moments, your commitment is all you've got. It's the foundation that keeps you standing when everything else is shaking. Most people's foundation is weak. It's built on motivation, or excitement, or other people's approval. And the moment those things disappear, which they will, the whole thing collapses. But when your foundation is commitment, real commitment that doesn't depend on how you feel or what's happening around you, you become unshakable. You become someone who can weather any storm because you're anchored to something deeper than circumstances. That's what the greats understand. That's what separates legends from everyone else. They're not more talented. They're not luckier. They're more committed. And that commitment carries them through seasons where talent and luck don't matter. Michael Jordan got cut from his high school basketball team. Cut. And you know what he did? He committed even harder. He used that rejection as fuel. He made it mean something. He turned it into the foundation of the greatest basketball career in history. He didn't quit. He didn't make excuses. He didn't blame the coach or the system. He committed to proving everyone wrong. And then he spent every day honoring that commitment. That's available to you. Right now. Whatever rejection you've faced, whatever failure you've experienced, whatever obstacle is in your way, you can use it. You can let it fuel your commitment instead of breaking it. But you've got to make that choice. You've got to decide that nothing, and I mean nothing, is going to stop you from becoming who you're meant to be. Not your past, not your circumstances, not other people's opinions, not your own fears and doubts. Nothing. When you commit at that level, when you make that decision with every fiber of your being, the universe has no choice but to respond. Opportunities appear. The right people show up. Doors open. Resources materialize. Not through magic. Through focus. Through consistency. Through the simple fact that when you're truly committed, you see and seize opportunities that were always there, but you were too distracted to notice. Your brain is a pattern recognition machine, and when you commit to something completely, your brain starts seeing everything through that lens. It starts finding ways to make it happen. It starts connecting dots you didn't even know existed. But first you've got to commit. You've got to give your brain that clear directive. You've got to say, this is what we're doing now. Find me every possible way to make this real. And then you've got to back that up with action. Every single day. No days off. No excuses. No, I'll start Monday. Today. Right now. This moment. Because here's the truth, you don't have unlimited time. You don't have forever to figure this out. Every day you delay is a day you'll never get back. Every opportunity you pass up because you're not ready is an opportunity that goes to someone who is. Time is the one resource you can't get more of. You can get more money, you can get more knowledge, you can get more skills, but you can't get more time. Once it's gone forever. So, what are you doing with the time you have? Are you investing it in becoming who you want to be? Or are you wasting it on comfort and distraction and the illusion that you'll have time to commit later? Later doesn't exist. There's only now. There's only this moment. And in this moment, you're either committed or you're not. You're either moving toward your goals or you're moving away from them. There's no neutral. Every decision you make is either a deposit in the bank of your future or a withdrawal. Every action is either building the life you want or destroying it. Every moment is either used or wasted. That's the reality. And you can either face that reality head on and commit to making every moment count, or you can keep pretending you have unlimited time and wake up one day wondering where it all went. I've seen both paths. I've watched people transform their lives through total commitment, and I've watched people waste decades because they could never fully commit to anything. The difference in outcomes is staggering, life-changing. The people who commit end up places they never imagined possible. The people who don't commit end up exactly where they started, just older and more bitter about it. Which path are you on right now? Be honest with yourself. Are you truly committed to changing your life, or are you just interested in the idea of it? Because interest doesn't change anything. Interest aren't showing yet. That's the standard. That's what's required. And most people aren't willing to meet that standard. They want the results without the commitment. They want the destination without the journey. They want the trophy without the training. And life doesn't work like that. It never has, and it never will.